Welcome to Useful Entertainment 2022 Spring. It's nice out, so I can start doing work again. So, a couple things have been going on. Mustang machine broke, kind of. It's not undrivable, it's just really annoying to drive. There's a steering shaft that goes from the column down to the steering rack. It's a two-piece shaft that uses a universal joint like a drive shaft in the middle. Well, that U-joint decided to go bad and it lost some needle bearings. So now the steering wheel, it likes to bind at 12 o'clock and then it jumps to the right. So now there's about 2 to 3 inches of play in the steering wheel when you go to make a right turn. Really annoying to drive, so I kind of just parked it. I still drive it here and there when it's shitty out and grocery getter style, you know. But I have been turning this into a daily. I usually keep the Camaro all waxed up and I keep it stored away in the garage like a queen. But I demoted it down to shltbox. And ever since I did that, I've been enjoying the car a lot more. And I'm becoming used to how it drives and learning its quirks. And there's a lot of broken stuff on that car. And since I've been driving it so long, now it's really starting to annoy me. So I've been fixing stuff on it here and there. It's got a bunch of dash light bulbs that are out. We're changing those today. My buddy Kyle is really good with electronics. He figured out that the printed circuit board is bad in areas. That's why some bulbs aren't working, because the bulbs aren't even blown out. You got him up there.
Hi guys.
So this is what we're working with right now.
You want me to put your seatbelt light back in?
I don't think it'll work. Well, regardless of whether it's on or not, I don't think it'll work. I don't think it's plugged in because these seats don't even belong to this car. They came out of an 87. Here's all our old stuff down here. The old printed circuit board that's got issues. We changed the factory 84 speedometer, or that's the tach. There's the 84 speedometer and tach. The tach is burnt out. The board on the back is no good. You can see where it burned up pretty good, and that would explain why the oil pressure gauge doesn't work as well. The speedometer's got issues where somehow the odometer and the trip odometer run backwards. I don't know how the hell that's even possible, but it does. The speedometer doesn't work, and the trip and the odometer go backwards. So we're changing that out. I have a spare cluster from that. If anybody remembers that red 89 that I cut T-tops into that we sent to the junkyard, we gutted that car. It went to the junkyard with nothing on it but a frame. So we have an entire spare cluster, speedometer, tach, all that good stuff. We're putting that in this car because we know it works good. I got to do a steering box on this thing. The steering box on this thing's shot. It's been maxed out. Like, you can adjust the box and you can tighten the worm gear. That's been done, and it still responds terribly, and the steering has just become super heavy because of how tight that gear is now. Nothing's worse than a car that has a super stiff steering with no input. So I'm going to do that, and then I have to get an alignment put on it because these are brand new tires, and that passenger side tire is slightly cambered out with like positive camber, and it's going to end up wearing out the sidewall, the outer sidewall. I don't want to put an alignment on it until I get the steering box put in. So I should be going to my other buddy's house tomorrow to grab the steering box out of my old 86 Camaro that's in his backyard. And I'll just take this steering box and put it in the 86 so that car's steerable. Let me go grab my keys and I'll show you what the Mustang's doing. It's incredibly annoying. Alright. Let's climb inside this thing. This thing is covered in pollen. Put the tilt wheel down. Alright. Right there, it binds, but then... Oh, wait. There we go. There it is. You can see I'm putting force on it, and finally... So that was enough to make me stop driving this thing until I can go to the junkyard and get a steering shaft, because they sell the joint They sell the universal joint I need for like $45. You have to take the shaft out of the car. You can't get to it while it's in the car, believe me. You got to take the shaft out, and then you got to break the joint off and put the new joint on the old shaft. I figure if I got to take it all apart, why not just get a whole new shaft out of a car in a junkyard with less miles and just put that whole shaft with that joint in this car, and I'd probably get the shaft for like 10 bucks. This thing is miled up. It's got like 270,000 miles on it, you know what I mean? It's a wonder it still runs, but at the same time, it's no different than a Lincoln Town car, and you see they put millions of miles on them in New York City as taxi cabs. What was that?
Pulsars out there. They've never seen that.
Oh yeah, Kyle drove his 88 Pulsar today. It's the last one in existence, and it's rust free inside and out. It's a goofy car, but it's unique at this point in time because they don't exist anymore. I haven't seen these cars on the road since the late 90s. He's gone through everything on this car. Full suspension, front and back, all the brakes, brake lines. He's redone a lot of interior work on it. It's not all ripped up. It's a really clean, low-mile example of a Nissan Pulsar. When he bought it, it had a bad head gasket. It's got a cast iron block with an aluminum head. He had to take the head off to my machine shop, and they resurfaced it for him. Found the head was all warped. So, yeah. Anybody wants to see it, I can do a full video on that car with him. Another thing we're looking to do is relocate the high beam switch on this car down to the floor where it should always be. I do most of my driving at nighttime when it's dark as shit outside, and my high beams are on 24/7 unless there's a car coming towards me. I don't have to keep repositioning my hands.
There you go.
Well, there's our new cluster.
No, you just gotta test it.
We used the same 3 gauges here, only those 2 work. That doesn't work. Then there's the 89 tack and the 89 speedometer. But anyway, I've been driving the car for a month and it's killing me having to dim my high beams down on the stick. So I'm putting a floor switch in it, like it should be. All right, we'll be back. All right, we're back, and it's day 2 of this project. Before I get involved with anything, just look at the wagon showing up here on this hill. Looks good. Looks like a straight up 70s street machine. The Keystones really did pull this car together, I think. Anyway, back to this thing. The problem we were having with most of the dash lights not working in this car is the printed circuit board was bad in a lot of areas. So I had that spare cluster. Kyle actually peeled the printed circuit board off of both clusters and swapped the good one onto this car. Now all the lights work. It looks great at night. I've never seen it look so good. I never got my dimmer switch for the floor put in because when I ordered it the other day, it was supposed to show up at AutoZone the next day. Well, it never showed up. They got it in like 2 days later, and I still haven't gone down and picked it up because we're not working on this car right now today. Gas.
Hi.
Gas.
We just cut our first crash session April 30th.
Yeah.
Cool. We ran 2 mowers.
Yeah, we had both the riding mowers out. We got this crippled 86 wheel horse I'm driving around. It's a stick shift with no hood on it, rotted out mower deck.
Tell him what I did with the battery yesterday.
And the battery is no good, so he took all the battery acid out of it, and we had powdered battery acid on hand. So he just replaced the battery acid and it took a charge. So that worked out.
You just changed out the acid on it.
Yeah, he just changed out the battery acid.
7-year-old battery.
So now that I'm driving this thing all over the place, I figure I might as well see if there's any air in the spare tire, which there wasn't. And when I dug it out of the hole, it's just infused with dried mud. So I put air in it, set it to 60 pounds, little dummy donut tire. And I figure I'd wash it up quick and let it dry out in the sun because it blackened my hands pulling it out of the car. Why would I put a dirty tire back in? Let's take a walk in here. As for the cutlass, I pulled that thing out last week. That wasn't too terrible getting that out of the car. It's the first time the tranny's been out of this thing. So now I got a giant gaping hole. Next, I gotta get this evaporator box off the firewall, because in order to get to the spark plug number 8 and 6 on the passenger side of the engine, you have to put the boot on the plug with a pair of needle nose pliers. There's no room to get back there. That box is so close to that engine. So we're gonna delete the evaporator box and get one of the block off kits from Jegs. I'm waiting on the machine shop to get my motor back together. When that comes home, I can start putting it all together. The top end, you know, they're gonna do the bottom end. And we're gonna bolt the Muncie to it and slide that on in. And like Dad just said, it's April 30th, so I'm hoping to maybe have this car somewhat on the road in the middle of June. I would like to bring it to GM Nationals, but we'll see how that goes. I think I'm gonna keep recording, just not now. So I'm gonna let you guys go for a minute, and when it gets darker out, I'll show you the dash lights in this car. It looks really nice. And by the way, I got a new kitty. His name is Shro. It's short for Schrodinger's cat. And if you know the inside joke on that, it's hilarious. You know, where they put the cat inside the glass box, and they shattered the box with radiation to see if it would kill the cat. I mean, they knew it would kill the cat, but they had to prove it would kill the cat. So this cat's name is Shro, short for Schrodinger's cat. And my God, he is a love bug. Look at him. He's hilarious. Shro, what are you doing? He's just an attention hoe. He loves attention, and he loves food. He loves attention. He loves cat weed. And he takes a lot of shits. I mean, he fills up the cat box in like half a day. But look at him. He's just a fat stoner kitty. Shro. He loves attention. The cat's huge. He's got to weigh 30 pounds. I got him from my buddy Kyle. They found him as a stray. He was a stray, but he was already fixed. So he lived in somebody else's house, and they kicked him out. But I don't know why. He doesn't piss everywhere. He doesn't do anything bad. He doesn't tear up furniture. He just wants attention. I think somebody moved and they didn't have room for him, so they kicked him out. But what's up, buddy? His arms are like boxing gloves. What are you doing, buddy? So yeah, that's Shro for Schrodinger's cat. Shro, what are you doing? Whack job. Alright, here we go. That is the nicest I've ever seen these dash lights look. You get your speedometer there, your tack there, your gas gauge up here, and your voltmeter to the right. And that is the nicest I've ever seen these interior lights work before. Before, a third of them were out. I had 0 turn signal indicators, and half the dash light bulbs were burnt out. And it wasn't because the bulbs were bad, it's just because the printed circuit board was bad. Kyle replaced all that, and it all works. It's nice. Before, here's how I checked if my turn signals were on. I had to watch the voltmeter to see if the needle would drop in between turn signal pulsations. Like I said, this car has been demoted to the summertime beater. And the more I've been driving it, the more I need to assess its problems and deal with its problems to make it more livable. so I can enjoy it. I finally did get my turn signal switch, by the way. AutoZone, they were supposed to deliver me my switch the next day from their hub, which they never did. But it turns out they had 2 of them on hand in that store that I go to all along. It's just the kid behind the counter didn't know how to use the computer or look up a part number and be like, hey, yeah, we got that in stock. So, yes, now I do have the switch, it's just not installed in the car, and it's probably not going to get installed in the car this week. I'm going to have to wait until my next off week. And, it's just, when I drive the Camaro, I do the douche lean, you know. Hand up here on the steering wheel, hand on the shifter, doing the slouch. And, like, I want to go from this position to this position just to dim down my headlights for a car or two. So that's where I'm at. I need to go down to my machine shop and I need to talk to them and find out if they got my crank back, which I'm pretty sure they did. And if they got my crank back for the 455 and the Cutlass, they need to hurry up and put that bottom end rotating assembly together. This way I can bolt it all back together, put the 4-speed behind it, and slide it on in the Cutlass. I haven't uploaded in a while, but that's your little mini update for now. I hope you enjoyed. Somebody's on my deck. Hang on. Who it be? The boogeyman. The boogeyman's on my deck. You wasn't kidding, it is the boogeyman. Yo, boogeyman. In between your spare time of putting fingerprints all over my passenger door, do you have anything to tell the people on the camera? It's in the dark, we can't see you. You are the boogeyman. Do you have anything to say, boogeyman?
It's a solemn reminder of the past, you know. And
What is?
3rd gen.
What do you guys want to hear? You're talking to the boogeyman. Boogeyman, what you got to say?
About the car in general.
In general, you got anything to say? Like Abraham Lincoln, whatever you are, be a good one. All right, boogeyman, your turn. Then you can't put the boogeyman on the spot like that.
So that's pretty much it. That sums it all up. Whatever you are, be a good one.
The boogeyman said is whatever you are, be a good one. And this piece of shit is a blast from the past. And if you wear feathers or turbines on your head, drive a foreign job, and what else?
Keep it cool.
That all?
Yeah, I don't know where the context comes from, so yeah. I mean,
There ain't no context. You're on TV. The boogeyman says that he does want to have an in-depth conversation with you in the future, just not this second. So, fast forward to the future, and we'll see you then.